Welcome back to your Flow Sports Fix on this Thursday evening. We've still got the stat man to come for you. We'll also be chatting with Nat Brown, who's the Deputy Chef de Mission of Australia's Paralympic team. We'll find out, does she think about them actually going to the Olympics this year with all the controversy about it? What's Nat's thoughts? And also about the team and her role in it as well. So that's coming up, an interesting conversation we have with Nat. But right now it's time for the Flowman, looking at some local footy and some SANFL as well.
The Riverland and Riverland Independent, River Murray, and also a quick look at SANFL. And in the Riverland, it's football back. It's starting this weekend, and everyone's waited a long time watching everyone else get going. In the independent football, Cobdogla gets Sedan Cambrai. It's Brownswell taking on Blanchetown Swan Reach. Ramco play Paringa, and Wonka have the bye. It's now a 7-team competition with Lirrup dropping out this year. And in the Riverland football, it's back to action this weekend. Loxton North at home in the Fruit Grove. They will host Barmera Monash, and the Bonnie boys will come across there and take on North in a great game against the Panthers. Just to reckon Renmark will be strong this year after winning the premiership back in 2019. They get the Loxton Tigers. I think are still going to have some player numbers issues, but they'll try hard. And Waikerie play Berry in the final one, and Waikerie get a home deck game there. Have Berry been able to recruit enough for quality talent for the year? It's going to be previewed on Friday night when Ben Venning joins us to talk about it, thanks to BVMS Chartered Accountants. Well, in River Murray football, and it was another interesting round. They've been playing in River Murray for a number of weeks now, so it's kind of like when you compare it with the Riverland, up river and down river. It's now round 5 action for River Murray this weekend. Imperials take on Tailem Ben, while it will be terrific to see Ramblers take on Jervois at the Measurer, and Meningie play Manham in the final game, a home deck game for Meningie. Round 4 results for the River Murray though, and it was a great win by Imperials, 21-17, 143 to Meningie, 4-5-29. Poor old Meningie really struggling at the moment, but a great performance by Jervois, beating Manham 9-15-69 to 7-10-52 in a close match. But what about this? How good is this Tailem Ben Eagles side? 23-17, 155, beating my Palonga Tigers, 3 goals for 22. What's happened to the Tigers? They lost a lot of their big recruits, their big names. Suddenly, these Tailem Ben Eagles are the toast of the River Murray, with Smelt kicking 9 goals there, and De Westhoff their best player. So it has been a good time for the Tailem Ben Eagles thus far in the season. They're top of the table, which is a place they haven't been, given they've been at the bottom for a number of years. In SANFL, the matches this weekend have West Adelaide play Redlegs. Both sides looking for a win. Redlegs in the top 4 should win that at Hyacinth Stadium. And then the Bulldogs play at their home deck at Elizabeth against the Adelaide Crows. This will be a good opportunity for the Bulldogs to get a win. Both sides, though, have had the one win thus far this season and sitting down the ladder, so a win here will keep them in touch with the top 5 for either side. Panthers, top of the table, play Sturt, who are in 6th place, and Sturt need to win away, but I think down at the Flinders University Stadium, the Panthers should get home. Tigers play Port Adelaide, and this one is down at the Bay at the ACH Group Stadium, and Glenelg in 2nd place, I think, can beat Sturt, while the Eagles take on North Adelaide at Montine Kia Oval at Woodville. And the Eagles, who are now at the moment in 3rd place, should be able to account for the Roosters in 5th. This could be the closest match, I think, of the round.
And from the SANFL, we're going across to some local footy in Victoria and New South Wales.
Victoria, we have the Koala District Football League into round 2 action. And Apollo Bay, they came thudding back to earth after the Albi Swans kicked 15-13, 103 to the Hawks, 9-8-62. Previous week, the Apollo Bay Hawks had a massive win over the Otway Districts, but then again, that seems to be the case. Otway Districts much improved performance against their old foes. Simpson, the Tigers won 17-12, 114. Otway 3 goals, 6-24, but gee, in the context of the season at their home deck at Gellibrand, you'd have to say that they didn't have a plus 20 goal margin. Was a good effort for Otway, maybe just starting to get a few players back to play at the club. Lawn 5-12-42 were defeated by South Colac 14-6-90, and South Colac have sounded an ominous warning to the rest of the competition with that massive win. They are looking like being a really tough side to beat this year, as are the Colac Imperials 11-11-72, beating Birregurra 6-7-43. The Imperials have been down the lower part of the draw in the last couple of years, but this year off has made them quite resurgent, and they beat Birregurra, who maybe the dynasty of the Saints, being one of the great sides of this competition, is starting to wane. It is certainly a big win for Colac Imperials. They've won both of their games thus far this season. The final match was Illawarra beating the Western Eagles 17-18 to 4-3. Looks like the same problems for the Eagles this year. Don't see too much improvement after what we thought maybe some encouragement signs with their younger brigade coming through. But Illawarra, who aren't the best side going around in this competition, recorded their first win of the season. So it has the undefeated sides at the top. South Colac leading the way, and they're being trailed not too far off by the Colac Imperials. Alvey are around the mark this year too. Look out for Lawn. They'll bounce back from that loss, and you reckon that Simpson are going to be in with their really good dairy farmers, their team coming up against some of these more fancied Colac sides down the hill. And speaking about Colac sides down the hill, the Colac Tigers in the Geelong Footy League are going well after their first 2 rounds, 2 good wins. So that'll make everyone pretty happy across the region. In the VFL, Geelong got off to a strong start. They have compounded North Melbourne's woes with a big win there. And interesting to see that the expanded league with the Queensland and New South Wales sides, the Queenslanders were pretty good. Aspley won at home. Southport and also Brisbane got a win. Gold Coast lost by 11 goals to Footscray. They also lost their AFL match, so they're probably going to struggle a bit. In the VFL Derby, this is an interesting one. The VFL Derby, the Swans playing the Giants. You get why I can't come to terms with this being a VFL competition. It's simply not Victorian. It is New South Wales. The Swans that got over the Giants. And one of the good players for their side in the Giants, though, was Matt Flynn from the Narrandera, lad that played his junior football with the Eagles in the Riverina. He did enough to merit selection for the Giants to face the runaway Bulldogs this weekend. He'll replace the big Shane Mummy Mumford. And Coach Leon Cameron says Mummy needs to be rested because he can really only play every second game. Wow, that's an interesting set of circumstances. Still playing AFL, but can make himself available only every second game because of the soreness and so forth that he has after each battle. You reckon it may be time for retirement and to bring on one of these young ruckmen for the Giants to see whether they can take the mantle, and maybe Narrandera's Matt Flynn can do just that with this opportunity this weekend.
And before we let the Flowman go, keeping the stat man honest, here's the Flowman's AFL tips for this round.
My AFL tips for the weekend, don't forget that it is a very interesting tipping competition we've got here at the Flow. Jace, the Flowman, and Dan Crouch from Flow News 24, all with 31 at the moment. So we're going pretty well. This weekend, we've got some great games. The Giants on Friday night play the Western Bulldogs. These two sides had that incredible 2016 preliminary final, but Western Bulldogs, I think, can win this up at Manuka in Canberra. And on Saturday, this is a winnable game for the West Coast Eagles against Geelong, with the Cattery losing Patrick Dangerfield with a 4 to 8 week absence with an operation on his ankle. Shannon Hearn is unlikely to play for the West Coast and to make the trip, but he, the big Anguston fullback, will be back in the West Coast colours, one would reckon, at their home game next weekend. I'm going to go for a little roughy there. I just reckon that the West Coast could actually get up, and the Gold Coast Suns take on Sydney Swans. And geez, Stuart Dew's under a bit of pressure. They're due for a win, but they haven't been able to find one. Sydney had a 2-point dramatic loss last week to the Giants, so Sydney might start favourite to win on the Gold Coast, but when your back's to the wall, Gold Coast have got to perform this weekend. Carlton played the Brisbane Lions, this one at Marvel, and the Lions might find this a danger game. Carlton can win this, I think, but you'd be hard-pressed to tip them after last week, so I'll go with the Lions. Melbourne and Richmond, well, this one is going to be a very interesting game too, because Melbourne haven't lost this year. Richmond needing a win, and their form's been okay, but Melbourne seem to be playing better, and this at the MCG on the what will be a massive game on Saturday night. So it's one to watch. Gee, I reckon I might go with Melbourne just to get over the line here. And Fremantle take on North Melbourne over in Perth on the night match at Optus Stadium. The Dockers, after their good form against the Crows last week, should win that, while the Hawks play the Adelaide Crows in Tasmania in Launceston. Yeah, danger one after the Crows last week. Third quarters are poor at the moment. Hawthorn haven't lost too many times down there. Might be Hawthorn just, I think. Collingwood and Essendon, the big Anzac Day clash on Sunday. What a game this promises to be. Look, I think Essendon, based on Collingwood's recent form, Buckley's got some problems there. Maybe just the Bombers will surprise them. And Port Adelaide and St Kilda, Port Adelaide comfortably at the Adelaide Oval night game for the Anzac Day games this weekend.
And just recapping the Flowman's tips there, the Bulldogs, West Coast, Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Freo, the Hawks, Essendon and Port Adelaide. How do they compare to the stat man? Well, hang in there. We'll find out coming up shortly.